At the 14th of April. This is Rabbi Levitt, Horeb.
Okay, so this is a special emergency shir for the emergency situation. We're going to be saying over the famous Nefesh HaChaim and Shar Gimel that we are just in chapter 12. And towards the end of this chapter, he starts off and he says, Ube'emes hu inyan godol. What is this? This is what he's been talking about in this chapter, thinking about the fact that Ki Hashem hu Elokim, ein od milvado. Hashem is Elokim, and there is nothing and no one and no thing and anything other than him. Thinking about this matter very deeply, inyan gadol uskula nifla. It is a wondrous skula. Lahasir, in order to do what? Lahaser ulevatel me'alav kol dinin. This will remove and nullify from upon oneself all dinim, all judgments, uritzonos acherim, and other designs and other plans of other people, shalo yuchlu lishlot bo, that they will be able to have no dominion over the person who focuses on this principle of ein od milvado, v'lo yaseh shum roshim klal, and they will not be able to have any effect whatsoever on this person. Kisha adam, here he speaks it out, what it is that we're talking about. Kisha adam koveya beliboy, when a person fixes in his heart lemar and says to himself, hello, Hashem hu Elokim hu amiti ve'ein od milvado yisborach shum koyach ba'olam v'kol ha'olamos klal v'hakol male rak achdusoi ha'pashut yisborach shmo. He says to himself, and he thinks to himself very resolutely, or as much as he could, as he says the words, even that, Hashem is the true force in the world. Ein od milvado, there is no other force. Yisbarach, may he be blessed. Shum koach ba'olam, no other power in the world. V'kol ha'olamos klal, and in all of the worlds, nothing at all has any power. V'hakol malei ra, what is and even more than that, what is contained in all the worlds? The worlds are rak achduso hapashut yisbarach shmo. They are only his unity and without any mixing of any other thing other than Hashem himself. So that's the first step that he does. And then umavatel belibo, the second step is that he does the following thing. Mavatel belibo, he nullifies in his heart bittul gomor. He nullifies in his heart an absolute nullification. Ve'eno mashkiach klal kol shum koach v'rotzon ba'olam. That first, in other words, the first thing he does is say Hashem is the only power, and the second thing that he does is that he says, and therefore there's no other power other than him that has any other power whatsoever, and any other can accomplish his mission or ratzon whatsoever, other in the whole entire universe. Umishabed umedabek tohar makshavto rak laadon yochid baruch hu, and he uh, uh, literally he enslaves and he cleaves with his with the purity of his makshava, purity meaning to be only focused on this thought and no other thought. Rak la'adon yochid baruch hu, only on the thought that Hashem is yochid, and he is the only one. There's no other. Ken yaspik hu yisborach biyodo shememela yisvatlu me'elav kol hakoichos v'haretzonos sheba'olam shelo yuchlu lifolo shum davar klal. And accordingly, yaspiku yisborach, Hashem will supply, so to speak, in his biyado, in his abilities, shemimela, that as a matter of course, based upon this, that the person is focusing on this, that Hashem is Einod Milvado, Yisvatlu me'elov, Hashem will nullify from upon this person kol hakochos v'haratzonos, all quote unquote powers, v'haratzonos, and designs and plans and schemes and etc. Sheba'olam, that exist in the world against him, shelo yuchlu lifolo shum davar klal, that they will not have any ability to put into practice or in reality shum davar klal, any of those designs or schemes or plans whatsoever.
And there's a note 46 that the author has written.
With the serpent.
Yeah, this note is brought at the end of this chapter and is entitled "Focus on God, irrespective of difficulties, sweetens harsh decrees." That's what the note is entitled.
Yeah, because that was an existing situation over there that in Parshas Chukas, that there was a plague, and the snakes were coming and they were attacking.
All right.
And so Moshe Rabbeinu put he put this snake on the staff and raised it up, and and people would look up and they would find a Yeshua. So he says over here, Zeu Inyan Mamrum Zal in the Mishnah in Rosh Hashanah. This is based upon a Mishnah in Rosh Hashanah, Chavtes Amid Aleph, Asei Lecha Saraf. Make for yourself a saraf. Make for yourself a serpent. What's the deal? The kinachash memis. What, you think that the snakes are coming into the camp, and they are the ones that they have the koach to be able to sting and bite and cause death? The kinachash memis. Onakash Mechayeh and similarly, is this snake that I put on the staff, and everybody's looking at that staff with the snake on it, and they think that that's a special snake that gives life. The other snakes give death and this snake gives life, both are equally untrue. Ella, Bizman, what's the deal with Moshe Rabbeinu putting the snake on the staff and everybody looking at the snake on the staff? Ella, Bizman she Yisrael mistakling klapi malo. You're not just looking at the snake, but when Klal Yisrael looks above to the heavens, u'mishabdim es libam la'avihem shabashamayim, and they I don't know how to translate this word into English other than to say to enslave. Doesn't sound very good. But that's the word. Mishab, from the word Evid. Mishabdim, they make themselves a servant. Let's how about that? They make a commitment. I am going to be a servant. I'm going to be a servant of what? My heart is going to be a servant. La'avihem shebashamayim.
It says here that they exclusively, truly subjugated their hearts to focus on their Father in heaven alone.
Oh, so you know what? It doesn't even really mean to say, okay, Hashem, I'm going to keep Shabbos. What it means is we're not getting into his acceptance of mitzvahs. We're talking about just this idea of that his heart is meshubed to this idea of ein od milvado, that Hashem is the only power that there is in the entire universe, and there is no other power. There's nothing that any other thing could do to him. Rotzaloymar, so this means as follows: Kishistaklu klapi mala lahanachash hasaraf v'hisbonenu b'kocho hara v'im kol zeh bidluhu milibam v'lo heshkichu al kocho hanora v'shabdoi es libam be'emes rak laviam shebashamayim levad. He looks at this snake on the staff and he says, this snake on the staff, he's just like the snakes on the ground. And what about the snakes on the ground? Do you think that they can do anything? They can do absolutely nothing. He's meshabed his heart in be'emes, complete and sincerely and earnestly, as much as he can, of course. Only rak laviam shebashamayim levad. Hayu misrapiim, they would be healed. They would be healed, meaning to say that the snake already bit them. If the snake didn't bite them already, then what do they need to be healed from? They got no problem. But he's saying that they would be healed from an existing snake bite. There was people that were nifter from the snake bite. Vuhu amitas inyan. So that's amazing, right? We would say, look, al pi derech hateva, the guy got bit by a poisonous snake. So what's there to do right now? The nature is going to take its course. No. If he says no, the snake has no power and his venom has no power, the only thing that has any power whatsoever is HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and Hashem could remove nullify totally the snake bite. So then it says Hayu Misrapin. They would be healed. They would be healed. Vuhu amitas inyan hamtokas kochos hadinim b'shorsham. And this, in truth, is what the whole matter of hamtokas kochos hadinim is all about in the foundation of it. Hamtokas hadinim means to make sweet, to sweeten the judgments, the harsh judgments. So the harsh judgments are real judgments. This is not just a snake; it's a judgment. Where the judgment comes from? A judgment comes from Hashem, and even that, a judgment that comes from Hashem, they could be there could be a hamtokas. They can sweeten and take away the koach of the dinim in their b'shorsham, from their very foundation, and uproot it from its root. And this is all clear to the one who understands. Okay, so he continues on with the sefer. V'zeh ha'inyan. Hu gam kein b'chlal kavonos hazoar. Ba'akdama, ba. Do we have any translation into Lashon HaKodesh, Targum HaZohar? We have over here, yes. It says, HaMitzvah HaRavis, the fourth mitzvah, Ladas ki Hashem hu Elokim, Kamo she'ata omer v'yadata hayom v'hashivosa el babecha, ki Hashem hu Elokim. This is a pasuk that we say in Aleinu. We say this in Aleinu every day, 3 times a day. Shakris bin Chamariv, that you will know today and fix it in your heart. Fix it in your hearts. Put it there. Ki Hashem hu Elokim. Hashem is Elokim. And it says, Einod Milvado. That continues the Zohar, the Hainu, Hashem Elokim yiyeh nechlal b'shem Havaya. Okay, so we know we got 2 main Shemos of Hashem. Well, really, the main one is Yud Kei Vav Kei, right? Shem Havaya, we call it. And then we got one which is Elokim. Nefesh HaChaim in this shar has been speaking about these are the two. From Hashem's perspective, in other words, it's Yud Kei Vav Kei. It's all existence. It's all reality. It's all time and space, everything. Hu haya, he was. Hu hoveh, he is. Hu yiyeh, he will be. That's Yud Kei Vav Kei. Contracted. He's all existence. Absolute oneness and unity. That's the Shem Yud Kei Vav Kei. Then there's the Shem Elokim, that he is like, he's the Melech, and he's the one who has the kochos. He's the Bala Kochos Kulam. All of the kochos are his. And so he said, the Zohar says over here that these 2 names really are one. Hashem hu Elokim. Hashem is the one who is Elokim. Elokim is how we perceive him. It's from our perspective that he is the Melech of the Olam. Hashem Elokim yiyeh nechlal b'shem Havaya. U'ksha'adam yoda shehakol echad. When a person knows that it's all one, v'lo yasim parud, and he doesn't make any parud. Parid is separation. Doesn't make any separation. Oz afilu hatzad ha'acher yistalek min ha'olam. At that point, even the tzad ha'acher, I think that's referring to the Sitra Achra, which is the Kochos HaTuma, Tzad HaAcher. And what happens? Afilu Tzad HaAcher Yistalek is sent packing. We send the Sitra Achra packing on his way. He's finished. Min ha'olam, from the world. And we pick up in the Nefesh HaChaim now. That's a Zohar. So really, what we see over here, the Nefesh HaChaim is saying, this, what I'm saying is, of course, like everything that he says, he's giving a source for what he says. People know this as the skula, the wondrous skula of the Nefesh HaChaim. It's not something that he made up. He's basically saying that what I'm saying you over here is basically what the Zohar says. V'havein, and understand this well. V'gam yigzor omer v'yokom loy lefol inyonom v'nisim v'nifloy hipok sider kochos hatibim kevin shemishabed u'medabek tohar emunas levavoy be'emes bal timot rak lo yisborach levad. Ve'etzlo yisborach hakol shaveh kol rega lifol b'sidur hateva shekava o hipuch sidur hateva. It's up to Hashem every moment to do according to the seder of teva, so to speak, and say, okay, look, this is the way things are going. This is this is the connect the dots. And it's according to the law of averages and the nature of the natural the way the things are developing. This is what is going to result. Hashem, there's no such a thing. Hashem is deciding from one moment to the next whether to continue in that seder of what looks to us like teva, the way that's things going. Or in one moment, he can say, "Boom! It's all completely nullified, and we have an unexpected and unexplainable nahapachu, a total reversal, because Hashem is the one who is running the show, not the law of averages, and not teva, and not conventional wisdom." Kol eish hipuch sider hateva ka'amro. Like we say in the davening, when we start Psuk de Zimra, mi sha'amar, when we say Baruch sha'amar, mi sha'amar l'shemen v'yadlik. Oh, no, he's talking about the Maisa with Rabbi Chanina ben Dosa. Right, that's where he started off this parak. We didn't speak about it because I didn't want to get. I wanted to make sure we got to the end of the. But this is the Maisa in the Gemara that he quoted before in Chulin Zayin Amid Beis. You can take a look at it over there. That's the with Rabbi Chanina ben Dosa, and with the daughter that said we don't have any shemen in the house, so how are we going to be able to light the Shabbos left? We got no oil. And so if you have no oil, how can you light a Shabbos left? Asked the daughter. What are we going to do? So Rabbi Chanina ben Dosa said, Mi sha'amar l'shemen v'yadlik, yomar l'chometz v'yadlik. He says, I know that the one who says, he's the one who says, everything goes according to what he says. Baruch sha'amar, the blessed one who says, the one who says that shemen lights, let him say, he will say, I have emuna and bitachon that he will say, l'chometz v'yadlik, that the chometz, the vinegar will light. Vinegar will light. Everybody knows that vinegar can't light. You need to have oil to light. It might look similar, but they're totally different things. One is vinegar and one is oil. Oil will light, but vinegar is not capable of lighting. Everybody knows that. Rabbi Chanina ben Dosa, he's the only one in the world that didn't know that. So that's what he said. He said, no, Hashem will Today Hashem will say that the vinegar will lie. So this means as follows: Hello, etzlo yisborach shaveh. By Hashem, it's all the same. It's all shaveh. Everything is equal. Zeh kamo zeh. The shemen is exactly the same as the chometz. The oil is exactly the same as the vinegar. There's no real difference between them to Hashem. V'kein hespik habore baruchu biyado. And so Hashem has within his power, he can make this happen. Ukehena rabos, and that's what happened. Of course, the story is not simply that he said that, but it happened exactly as Rabbi Chanan ben Dosa said, and that Hashem made it light, the vinegar light. Ukehena rabos, and we have many examples of this. Kamuva b'shas, as is brought in Shas. This is not a one-time deal that happened with Rabbi Chanina ben Dosa. No, not at all. Says the Nefesh HaChaim, if you go through Shas, you will see that things like this happen again and again and again. Miniflos in Yonov, from Hashem's wondrous doings that Hashem does. Okay, Atkan. You got any notes there to read, Roy?
So about the Sitra Achra, literally means the other side.
Yes.
Sitra Achara, literally means side, and refers to the domain of evil.
Right.
The domain of that which is perceived to not be God, even though in reality all is God. When in this world, if we can perceive any part of our existence as being something other than God, then we are dwelling in the domain of the Sitra Achara. In contrast, our mindful engagement on the fact that all is God rids this world of the Sitra Achara and anything that acts as a barrier to separate from God.
Right. Very good. So this is a very important idea that a person could think, oh, well, there is such a thing as a Sitra Achar. You see, there is such a thing as evil in the world. There is evil in the world. You see there's evil, and you see that it has power, and et cetera, and it could do this and it does that, and the forces of evil are having a heyday. So the more a person speaks about that, and the more that a person focuses on that, and the more a person says it, and he believes that is really what's happening, and that is what it is. So that gives then Hashem gives powers to the Sitra Achra, and the Kochas Atuma are enlarged, are made stronger, because that's the way a person looks at it. But if a person will look at it the other way, and he'll say, no, everything is really Hashem. What do you mean everything is really Hashem? Isn't that evil over there? That's certainly evil. No, everything is Hashem. And the more a person focuses on that, then the Nefesh HaChaim says that itself will remove the power that Hashem gives to the Kochas Atuma and the forces of evil. And so that will send the forces of evil packing. So what we see is that in the schus of Amunah and Bitochen, the forces of evil are going to be sent packing. And that's the way they are sent packing. That's the only way.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Okay, so in the time that we have remaining, I still haven't been taken away. Oh, 1 second. Just a second.
Hi, it's okay, talk to me. It's gonna be your 12:30, okay? 12:30. 12:30.
Oh.
I'll tell you that. Minneapolis was the only place in Yerushalayim that didn't have any sidewalks. Only everywhere else in Yerushalayim, it was nonstop. I booked in a Hama, okay? And she said in Iran, they showed, I guess you were watching the news last night, you hear. But they kept seeing in the sky, like they saw the things in the sky, but we didn't hear it. It's the only place. And said on the news they showed like in Iran they were dancing on the streets after Israel was destroyed. Israel was destroyed. They were dancing on the streets, and they're like, they're like big cats. Anyway, I sent them to your sister, and I said, yeah.
I'm still.
Okay, but you have to say this one soda.
Okay.
Don't forget, you have to say.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, we've had a reprieve. So we could go to that's what I wanted to do over here in the Nefesh HaChaim. And do I have also I wanted to just we've done this before also in the base of Levi on Bitochen. Where's my base of Levi? What happened to the base of Levi? Oh. This is everybody has this Sefer, I know.
Base
Base of Levi on Bitochen.
yes.
We learned it at Alan Marcus's request. We learned it in Tafshin Pei Aleph.
All right. Well,
And over here,
is that in volumes, see?
it's just one volume, one little volume.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll go and get it, or is it?
Yeah. Yeah, sure. Wow. Very good, very good. Wow.
Okay. I remember now when I went to buy it, they had one large one and one small one. So I gave the small one to whoever I gave it to. And the big one, I kept the small one for myself, which I should have bought a big one.
Oh,
But anyway,
okay.
still the same pagination, all that, I believe.
Yeah, it's pretty large letters. actually. I mean, the Hebrew is, at least. So, so I just want to do the first two. I don't know what you call them. First two things that he's got over here. It's on page 1. It starts on page 1.
Right.
After the introduction, there's some type of an overview over here. We're not going to do that.
Mhm,
We're going
yeah.
to go back to the words of the Beis Halevi himself.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
this is a very, very important thing over here that he says, Bitochen habe mitzvah.
Mhm.
Bitochen is a mitzvah. Chovas habitochen. Bo b'psukim harbe rabu mispor. Chova, it is a chov. It's a person has an obligation in regard to this mitzvah b'tochen. Like they say on the bottom over here in the English, note number 1, many people mistakenly think that bitochen, relying on Hashem, is just an advisable way of life that the Torah encourages us to follow. And the Beis Halevi begins by stressing that bitochen is much more than an option, enabling us to calm our fears and live a happy and tranquil life. It is an outright Torah obligation incumbent on every Jew at all times, And in the more difficult times, it's even more important to try to fulfill this mitzvah. Just as the Torah commands us to keep Shabbos, who would think not to keep Shabbos? That's the whole foundation of Yiddishkeit. Is somebody's a Shomer Shabbos and keeping kosher. Of course, it's not an option to keep kosher, to keep Shabbos. That's what it means to be a Jew. Give tzedakah, okay? You have geld to give tzedakah. Also, it commands us to have bitochen. What does it mean to have bitochen? To believe that Hashem, that everything is controlled by Hashem, and therefore we must place our full trust in Him. So that's what he says over here. And the on top, back on top to the go to the words of the Beis Halevi. He says, Misha Mechaserbo, the one who is deficient and he doesn't have a bitochen, he's not trying to inculcate this in himself, the midah of bitochen, the characteristic of telling himself that Hashem is the one who's in charge, and He's the one that's running the show, and He's the one who is protecting me. Mi shemachaserbo, the one who is not involved in doing this, and he's therefore deficient, and he has other. He's avera gedola. He. How do you like that? It's an avera gedola. It's not just a nice, good thing to do. Okay, so that's the first thing that he says. That's section 1. Oh, we'll call it a section. And he mentions on the bottom, below the line, in note A, it's not even an ordinary obligation. Not only is bitochen a mitzvah in and of itself, it's actually the most essential of all 613 mitzvahs. What? Really? Yes, because he brings the Gemara. The Gemara in Makos says, Bo chavakuk v'hem midon al achas, shenemar v'tzadik b'emunaso yichye. Havakuk, the Hanavi, he came after the, who's it over there in the Gemara? The Gemara says, David, and I think they said that they put the Torah into this many principles. They put the Torah into that many principles. And then came Habakkuk at the end of the day. About not really the end of the day, about 2,000 years ago, and he said, there's one principle that the whole Torah is based upon. Tzadik be'emunaso yichya. And the Vilna Gaon says this, what Habakkuk is talking about when he says the tzaddik lives with his emunah, that is bitochen. Emunah, in other words, is the principles, the knowledge that Hashem is one, and bitochen is putting that knowledge that you have into practice, to actually living it and feeling it, and that's the emunah, that's the bitochen. Okay, so now in section B, the Beis Halevi basically refers to this. He's basically referring to the same thing that we saw in the Nefesh HaChaim, about the famous segula of the Nefesh HaChaim. Mi she'einu boteach b'Hashem u'mefached ze atzmo gorem lo lipol. He puts it in a negative way. The Nefesh HaChaim told us the positive side of the coin, but he's going to say the positive side of the coin also at the end of this section. Aveira zu atzmo gorem lo lipol. The aveira itself of not having bitochen and being afraid and being concerned about what could happen, this could happen, that could happen, and believing that is the way that he's given over into the forces of evil, that itself is causing him to fall into their dominion. And this is based upon the pasuk in Mishlei. Cherdas, two parts of this pasuk. Cherdas Adam, when a person is not, it doesn't mean that when he's a Haredi, because this is not what a Haredi is talking about. But a Haredi means that he's trembling, he's fearful. Cherdas Adam, when a person has fears and he's frightened. The pasuk says Yitain Mokesh, that itself, that he is afraid and has fears, that itself gives a mokesh, gives a snare, a trap for him is being laid. Chas v'shalom. That's the first part of the pasuk. So that's the negative side that the pasuk says first. What not having bitochen and therefore being afraid of things, what that could cause. It could itself cause something to a fallout. Chas v'shalom. But on the other hand, uboteach b'Hashem, someone who fortifies himself in this knowledge that Hashem hu Elokim einod milvado, and he employs the segula of the Nefesh HaChaim, Yisugav. Yisugav, what does it mean, Yisugav? Yisugav is translated as he will become a fortress. A fortress is built around him. Mizgav, like the pasuk says. So continues the Beis Halevi. Ze atzmo gorim lo, and now he's going to explain the first part of the pasuk and then the second part of the pasuk. First part of the pasuk says this, that he has fear. Ze atzmo gorim lo shinasein lefanov mokesh. That itself will cause this, that he has fear. It will cause that a trap, a mokesh, will be placed before him, and says the Beis Halevi, Shalo hayaklal mikodem ba'oso davar. that wasn't really there previously, it will be placed in front of him, meaning that his fear causes the thing to be placed in front of him, even something which is not really actually in the reality a danger. It could cause things to befall him. Chas v'sholem. On the other hand, Boteach Bashem Yisugav Degam Mehatzara Shahayalo Yinatzel. On the other hand, someone who fortifies himself in Bitochen, and he says Hashem is the one who is protecting me, and Hashem is the only one who is the power of the world, and no other thing has any power other than Hashem. And Hashem is, I'm in Hashem's fortress. What will happen when he fortifies himself with these thoughts of Bitochen and Emunah? Yisugav. Degam me'atzara shahayabo, that even from an existing sorrow, even from an existing sorrow and a tzara, a crisis which is right now being reported and spoken about, an existing sorrow, he will be saved from it. Yinatzel. So now I know that these words are very, very powerful and they might be frightening themselves. The words themselves are frightening. They could cause fright. So we have to take a look over here on the bottom. There's a note over here from the Stipler. Zeichet Tzadik V'Kodesh Levrocha. The Stipler writes, I have to take a look at this, Birkas Peretz in Parsha Shoftim, on the mitzvah of when a Jew goes to war. Over there, the Torah says, "Don't be afraid." One is certainly not held accountable for natural fear or anxiety that he experiences, which is practically uncontrollable. In other words, that's his first, I'm understanding that what the Stipler means is that's his first reaction to the situation. He hears somebody tells them the news about this is happening and that's happening. This one says this and that one says that, and he gets afraid from what he's hearing. So that's natural. That he's not held accountable for, because that's uncontrollable. The Torah was not given to angels. It does not expect us to be superhuman. However, what we have to do is we need to control ourselves, not to think about, to keep hanging and holding on to these types of thoughts on an ongoing basis, and not to be involved with them. Because these are the because when we are continuing to hold on to those thoughts and continuing to investigate about and ask about and find about and it all only causes more worry. And so those thoughts are going to cause additional fear. Well, that's what we caused ourselves, that additional fear. So that is what we should not do. So what should we do instead? Instead, we should strengthen ourselves with thoughts of emunah and bitochen. This should be our first response. When we hear anything, we go straight to the Nefesh HaChaim and read what it says in the Nefesh HaChaim, Shar Gimel, chapter, what was it? Yud Beis, the Segula of the Nefesh HaChaim, and read it, and go to the Beis HaLevi over here, and read these first two sections that the Beis HaLevi says, and think about that. That's what we should be thinking about. Be'ez Hashem. And when we think about it, then there'll be a Yeshua. Bezrat Hashem. Okay. Yashikoyach, everybody, for showing up.
Thank you. And you too.
And
Thank
what?
you, Rabbi.
Oh, I also showed up. Yes. My wife told me that I'm going to be available until 12:30 in any case. So if you want, is anybody going to be here for the second shir?
I will.
Okay, so
I don't know if I'll be awake, but I'll be here.
All right. I'm not too sure. Not too
okay.
I don't know what's happening.
I don't know what's going on with Alan. I thought he was going to come, but apparently he didn't.
I got three emails from Alan this morning. He's at the doctor.
Ah, okay.
But I'm gonna have to I'm gonna